Hello and welcome to Auspol Explained. My name is David, your long curly haired host of Auspol Explained, and let's explain some Auspol, okay? Over the past few elections there's been the rise of a thing called Teal independents, who have been challenging long established members and even managing to unseat a few very prominent politicians. But what is a Teal independent, and how does that make them different to other independents? Despite being referred to as a collective, each Teal independent has their own motivations, policies and ideas, and where they are on the political spectrum varies. But there is a common theme though: a focus on climate action. There are some other common things usually associated with Climate 200, but it's not a strict definition. The term Teal is just ultimately a convenient and loose umbrella term to categorize them and make it easier for the media to talk about them without having to individually list all their names. So there are many people who run as independents, but that doesn't make them Teals, okay? Don't just assume that your local independent candidate cares about climate change at all. And even if they do, don't assume that they are a Teal independent. Di Lee, independent member for Fowler, does care about climate change, but she rejects being associated with the Teals because she's not backed by Climate 200. I'll get back to that in a moment, but first, why Teal? Well, back in 2019, Sally Steggall defeated former Prime Minister Tony Abbott for the seat of Warringah in New South Wales. She used the colour teal in her campaign material, and the colour has become associated with the movement. It's also been used by many other Teal independents in their branding. However, some Teal independents have used other colours in their branding, like pink or yellow, the other colours. Some people also say that teal is a combination of the blue of liberals and the green of environmentalism, because Teals have traditionally targeted liberal seats, but they're not as left-wing as the Greens. Another thing that is commonly associated with Teals is how they fundraise. Teals usually, but not always, get some of their campaign funding from Climate 200, which is a political fundraising body founded by Australian businessman Simon Holmes à Court. He used to fundraise for Josh Frydenberg, the former treasurer and deputy leader of the Liberal Party, but he grew frustrated with the Liberals' energy policy because of its focus on fossil fuels like coal and gas instead of renewable energy. Climate 200 was created in response to this in 2019 to support community-backed independents, including Dr. Monique Ryan, who defeated Frydenberg in 2022. Now, Climate 200 is not a political party either. It's not controlling the policies of the Teals, but naturally it's only going to help finance independence with values that align with its values, so you can see a correlation there. You wouldn't donate to someone who went against your values either, obviously. Climate 200 also isn't initiating the campaigns of these independents either. The way it works basically is community groups find and back independent candidates, and then Climate 200 considers if it wants to provide support to them or not. If it's satisfied they are committed to its policies of advancing climate action, integrated politics, and respect and safety of women, then it may decide to help with amplifying the public profile of the candidate and assisting with fundraising from the community. Climate 200 does this because it argues that it needs to donate to level the playing field with major parties that have significant resources. Teals have also mostly been women that have challenged mostly male Liberal seats, and as such the idea of Teals has been associated with a rise in gender equality and representation of women in Parliament. However, I must stress that the definition of a Teal is vague, okay? Men are included too, like David Pocock, a senator for the ACT. Both Pocock and Sally Steggall have taken money from Climate 200 before, but now aren't taking it for the 2025 election, so those resources can be spent on new and less established candidates. They're elected members, they have their own, advertising budget. And while Teal independent campaigns do focus on Liberal seats, usually there are multiple Climate 200 backed candidates challenging Labour seats in the 2025 election, and the seats that they are going for are a mixture of men and women. So yes, there are often reoccurring elements to a Teal independent. They're usually women, usually they're going after Liberal seats, usually funded by, in part, Climate 200, and sometimes not those things. I know, yay, vague, But fundamentally though, the core requirement is a focus on taking action on climate change. They need at least to be climate-focused independents to be labelled a Teal independent by the media. And that is ultimately, again, who gave them that moniker as an easy shorthand for talking about a collective group with a vaguely similar policy platform. But again, they are independents. They will have their own individual ideas about different policies. So if there is one running in your area, I encourage you to look up their policy platform and see what else they stand for. Just as I encourage you to look into all the other candidates running in your area to understand them as well. Make an informed vote. And there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to share, subscribe, comment down below. And hey, I'm not backed by Climate 200. I've never even touched Simon's money. He won't let me near his wallet, but hey, you could give me your money and support me by contributing to my Patreon. You can get episodes a little bit early. You support me, everyone's favorite person in the world? Maybe. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you at the polls.